What's happening, guys? Today we're going to be discussing the top 5 private label Amazon categories. So I'm going to be breaking down out of the 40 Amazon categories, which are the very, very best. And I know this shirt is probably going to cause a bit of controversy, but I'd love to hear from you below. Are you a supporter of Bitcoin? Not a supporter of Bitcoin? Today it passed $50,000, so I could not resist wearing this shirt today. But that's something else I do want to speak with you guys about soon. I want to do a video on cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, and how things are moving there. Something I did a video on about 2 or 3 years ago, I remember, but of course had very little interest at that time. But today's video is not going to be on that subject. It is on the categories, the best possible Amazon categories for private label. And there are a few criteria we're going to use to evaluate the 40 Amazon categories and get down to the best 5. And these are as follows: product potential, fees, restrictions, competition, and then finally an overall score where I'm going to mix in my opinion as well. So up on screen here, we're going to put the categories on Amazon.com. So of course that's North America, the US, but they're very similar across marketplaces. There's some differences. Sometimes the categorizations are a little bit different, but generally these are the 40 categories we're going to be dealing with. So let's deal with number 1, which is product potential. And really what we're looking at here is private label suitability. Remember, what we're looking to do is find a base product that we can improve, that we can make unique, that we can make our own. Some categories lend themselves to that much more than others. And that's what we're going to quickly check off now to narrow down this list. So of course, Amazon devices and accessories, that's not suitable for private label. Even when we look at Amazon Launchpad, which by the way is kind of the way to launch inventions onto Amazon. So for example, Kickstarter products usually go through Amazon Launchpad. That again is a really good business model, but it's different to ours. So that again is not a category we're going to be prioritizing here. And there are many others that aren't suitable to private label here. For example, apps and games, Audible books and originals, books, CD and vinyl, collectible currencies, these digital categories, gift cards, Kindle, magazines, movies, etc. These are not what we focus on. So we're going to immediately remove those. So as you can see, 17 are not suitable for private label, and that leaves us with 23. Number 2, let's deal with referral fees here. Remember, every time you sell a product on Amazon, you are going to pay them a referral fee. It's basically a commission to Amazon for bringing you the sale. They have millions of customers, credit card details already stored, and so they've brought you the sale in a sense. This referral fee is usually 15% on average, but it can differ between categories. Of course, we want a lower referral fee percentage because that's going to boost our profits. We want to be paying less over to Amazon for each sale. So over here, you can actually see all of the referral fee categories. We've broken them down for you. You can pause this if you want to take a look at everything. Some of them are even staggered. For example, you can see that beauty and personal care, there it's going to be an 8% referral fee if your product price is less than $10. But if it's above $10, then you're going to pay a 15% referral fee. Intricate, but you can see how every category differs. Now, since we're looking for the top 5 categories here, I'm really just going to break down the best and worst. So the worst ones, in my opinion, are definitely clothing, shoes, and jewelry. You can see here that clothing and accessories is 17%, and then you got jewelry, which is 20% up to $250. And if you go over that, yes, it is 5%, but generally this is a high referral fee category. And on the other hand, it also is filled with big brands. So this is not the best category, your clothing, shoes, and jewelry. But some of the best referral fee categories we can see here are automotive at just 12% as opposed to 15%. You've also got camera and photo. A lot of products in there are only an 8% referral fee. And it's the same for cell phones and accessories. Although that's not my favorite category, it does have a low referral fee. Then you do have computers and accessories with an 8% referral fee, if the price is over $100. So it's going to be really niche and only for a specific few of you, but that is the case there. Electronics also has a surprisingly low fee here of just 8%, but that's going to be specific electronics. You're going to have to look into the sub niches of electronics and make sure it's the correct type of product. For example, electronic accessories often have an 8% referral fee. So your product just has to line up with that exact type of product. And industrial and scientific, as you know, one of my favorites is just a 12% referral fee. So camera and photo, cell phones and accessories, automotive, industrial and scientific, and electronic accessories, especially those priced over $100, are our best categories in terms of referral fees only. So we're going to underline those from here on as being the best in terms of fees. Number 3, here we're going to look at restrictions. As you know, some categories on Amazon are gated or restricted, and that means you cannot sell in them until you have approval from Amazon. Now for new sellers, that's a bit of an obstacle because one of the biggest requirements for becoming ungated in a category is sales history. So if you're a new seller, this is a bit of an issue. But if you're an experienced seller, it's usually quite easy to get ungated once you have some sales history. And then this can actually be an advantage for you. It can be a barrier to entry for all the new sellers entering this market. So again here, I'm going to put a list of all the categories that are or aren't restricted, or on what basis, because some are not gated, but certain products within them are gated. So remember this, you have restricted categories and you have restricted products. I'm actually going to put a link to a video up here for you if you want more depth on that, on specific products which are gated on Amazon. I'm also going to link an article from Jungle Scout where they go into this for you as well. So you can see a lot of them are actually not gated, but if I look at the ones that are, if we discuss those a bit, you can see arts, crafts, and sewing. It's not gated, but only fine art is going to be gated, not a problem for us. Automotive is gated, and this is one of the better categories as we discussed. Beauty and personal care is not gated, but certain products like cosmetics, skin care, that type of thing is going to be gated, and you're going to need approval, probably certification during that approval process. So that's something to consider there. Electronics also not gated, but hoverboards, e-mobility devices, and laser pointers are gated. And then grocery and gourmet food, as well as handmade products, are both gated categories. When it comes to health and household, and also industrial and scientific, both are ungated, but remember that PPE, personal protective equipment, is a restricted product type now. So that's the one you have to watch out for, and that you could list in either of those. Home and kitchens also ungated, but just note that lighting products can be gated. So that's what you want to look into if you are doing lighting. Office products also ungated, but ink cartridges and similar products to that are restricted. Tools and home improvement also ungated except for surveillance equipment. And then toys and games. This is also generally ungated, unrestricted, but during Q4, specifically for toys, there are restrictions. So here, the major ones you want to either avoid as a brand new seller or take advantage of to have that barrier of entry as a more advanced seller are automotive, our grocery and gourmet food, our handmade products, and then toys and games, but specifically toys during Q4. And number 4 is to click the like button, but also on competition. Which of these categories are the most competitive? What we're going to look at here is the exact number of products in each category. Actually, I don't want to say exact, but a very, very good estimate of the total number of products in each category. And then also, what BSR would you need to be in the top 0.5%? So in the top 0.5% of sellers, what BSR number would you need to be? Remember, number 1 is the very best seller in that category. So the higher up that number is, it means the more competitive it is to be in that top 0.5% of products. Now, this is data as of January 2021, so quite relevant at this point, and it's probably going to be similar. They're all probably just going to expand. This ratio will be similar, probably even in a year's time. And a lot of this data we got from Clear the Shelf, which I'm going to link below as well. Some good data there if you want to look more into this. But again, I'm going to drop the list here for you so you can pause this and take a look if you wish. But here, I'm really just going to point out which ones surprised me, either by having more products than I thought were going to be in there, or they have far less products in comparison to other categories than I thought was the case. So automotive has a surprisingly high number of products there. You can see over 23 million products, and 117,000th place, you're going to be in the top 0.5%. So in other words, if your product is the 117,000th best selling product in there, you're going to be in the top 0.5%. So a lot of products in here, a lot of competition. Now, I do want to remind you when I'm going over this doesn't mean you shouldn't do a certain category of product, because remember, there's sub niches. So automotive will have, baby seats and automotive pet products, and it will go down into these sub niches which could be high potential. This is just a general overview of the categories, how many sellers go for these, how many products are in each. Baby I found really surprising because I thought there'd be more products in there, especially if you compare that to automotive with 23 million. Baby only has 3 million products in it, and I thought that was one of the most competitive niches. And there again, if you want to be in the top 0.5% of sellers there, your product has to be the 16,000th best seller. Okay, so 16,000 products are within the top 0.5% there, as opposed to automotive, 117,000 in the top 0.5%. Home and kitchen, one of the biggest categories as well, with 66 million products. You can see if you want to be in the top 0.5% of sellers there, 331,000th. If your product ranks that, if it sells 331,000th best in that category, you're still in the top 0.5%. And then sports and outdoors also, 31 million products in there with a BSR of 157,000 to be in the top 0.5%. Pet supplies and toys and games both surprised me with having very few products comparatively to these other categories. And those were two I also thought would be really a huge number of products based on the competition we see amongst sellers. So our categories with the most products where you would expect the most competition are home and kitchen, sports and outdoors, automotive, and then electronics. Electronics is categorized differently, so it's difficult to get concrete data on that, but it is definitely one of the biggest categories. And the ones with surprisingly low number of products, baby, pet supplies, and toys and games, all surprisingly low, and those are all really good categories as well. And number 5, this is my personal opinion, our overall evaluation on this. Now here I'm looking at things like size, weight, giftability, brand building, etc. I'm putting all of that together and giving you my opinion. Now I'm going to rank them out of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the very worst. So for our remaining categories, here are my scores. Appliances, I'm going to give this a 2. And the reason for that is we've got very big brands here and we've got high cost products. So a lot of you are going to struggle to start these at scale. Arts, crafts, and sewing, I'm going to give this category a 9. I think this is a very underrated category. It's less saturated, extremely giftable, and contains some really interesting products. Automotive, I'm going to give this category a 10. This is a very strong product. It is, of course, a bit more of a male-dominated niche, but that also makes it really giftable. It has excellent fees as well, and it is a gated category, which can give your more experienced sellers a big advantage. Once you've sold in here for a while, you have that initial gate for new sellers to the platform. Baby, I'm going to score this one an 8. Beauty and personal care, I'm going to give a 7 here. We've got some big brands here. Sometimes you are going to need certification, but it is also a giftable category and you can build out very unique products here. Cell phones and accessories. Now, although it looks good on fees, etc., I'm going to give this category a 2. I think it's really overdone, and I think there's a lack of creativity here. It's hard to build out unique products here. And electronics. Now, electronics, since there's like sub niches in it, that's how I'm going to break this down. The first one being camera and photo. I'm going to give this a 10. It's extremely premiumable. People in the camera space spend a lot of money on stuff. It's very, very giftable as well. And we've got a great referral fee structure here. Remember, in that type of niche, we're not going to launch a camera itself. We're looking very much at accessories and items that are going to accompany those main primary products in that niche. In computers and accessories, if we're looking at computers, of course, that's a 1. It's a big brand product, extremely expensive to produce. But looking at electronic accessories again, this is a bit better, and I'd score this an 8. We've got very high demand for this type of thing, but we are going to be focusing only on accessories again. Not actually doing the computer or the camera in these cases. We're accessorizing for those. Now, grocery and gourmet food, I'm going to score this a 5 overall. It's very specific to some sellers. If you're in this niche, or perhaps you have a company offline that already produces foods, etc., or some niche of food, then this could be an excellent opportunity. But for new private label sellers in general, this is not the best. It's more complex. It's going to need a lot of certification as well. Also have to remember you have things like expiry dates, which have to be put onto products. And of course, those products cannot be sold after expiry. This is a gated category though. So if you have expertise here, could be a very good thing to get into. Handmade products. Again here, I'm going to score this a 5. Now the main reason for that is that this is a lot more work. You're actually hand making your items. Now a lot of you are looking to build more time freedom and leverage Amazon to fulfill your items, etc. And in this case, you can do that, but you're doing this additional work as well. It's also a gated category, so keep that in mind. You do have to apply to sell handmade products. But again here, similar to foods and grocery, is if you have expertise here, this can be a great category to go into. Maybe you have some way of automating what you do, or you just already do it offline, then this can be an excellent niche for you because a lot are going to avoid it and it's therefore less saturated. So it's also a very good thing for people who want personalized gifts. And we know how big the gift category is. This can be a really good niche for you if you have expertise there. Health and household, I'm going to score this category a 6. Home and kitchen, I'm going to score a 4. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have amazing products in that niche. It's just my personal opinion. I think there's a lot of competition here, but again, you can niche down. It's just not one of my personal favorites. Industrial and scientific, I'm going to give this category a 10. We've got very good referral fees here. It's definitely an underrated category and it's less researched. Some really interesting products here that you can make your own. Musical instruments, we're going to give a 1, not because I don't like musical instruments, but just because that's obviously a very difficult place to break into. Got some big brands, higher cost items. Office products, I'm going to give this a 6. The reason for that is office products struggle from a problem with big companies and their scale. And because they have such scale, they drive prices down. For example, if you look at, if you're just looking to buy paper or cardboard boxes or a lot of the office supply type products, the price is driven way down, making it very difficult for you to compete. So overall, not the best category in my opinion. Patio, lawn and garden, I'm going to give this category a 7. Pet supplies, I'm going to give an 8. We got a lot of private label sellers here. Make sure you don't do something that's been a bit overdone, but it is a very emotional niche and it's somewhere where you could really build out your own brand. And sports and outdoors, I'm also going to give an 8. There's a large variety of products here. So just make sure you don't do what all the other private label sellers are doing here, because we do have a lot of sellers in this niche, but you do have a brand building opportunity here. Tools and home improvement. As long as you avoid those primary tools, I think this is a good niche. Definitely more on the male dominated area, but that also makes it giftable. And toys and games, definitely giving this one a 10. This is highly giftable. There's a big opportunity to build a brand here as well, and it's gated at times, which can be an advantage. So our lower potential categories here are appliances, cell phones and accessories, computers, home and kitchen, and musical instruments. 2 categories I would only suggest to those with specific expertise or skills are grocery and gourmet food or handmade products. And finally, putting this all together, the 5 highest potential categories on Amazon. 1 is arts, crafts, and sewing. 2 is automotive. 3, camera and photo. 4, industrial and scientific. and 5 toys and games. And something else I wanted to make you guys aware of is our new YouTube membership. A lot of you have been asking for more help. You've been asking a lot of questions. And as we grow on YouTube, I've been finding it very difficult to keep up with everyone's questions. So I'm sorry if I haven't answered your question lately. There are just so many of them. So what we've decided to do is really kind of compress our best supporters, our top supporters, the people who are a little bit more serious, who want more help. And we're going to be offering segments of our YouTube channel to them. Now, this is not going to change anything. There's still going to be our exact videos as we always do, but this is going to be a higher level. So for example, if you do join our YouTube membership, there are 2 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, Seller Squad and Best Seller Squad. And in Seller Squad, the first tier, you're basically going to have a private Q&A with me. So this is only for members of the tier. It makes it more personable. It allows me to give more attention to your specific questions. And we actually do that live on YouTube every month. The second thing we do is, instead of having all these different live Q&As, is we have an always open question post. Now, this post is going to be in the YouTube community area, really easy to find. I post the post there, and then you can ask your questions whenever they come up. Because I know, running this business, you're busy with your day-to-day, and then something comes up and you need an answer to that. So what we're going to have is a rolling post where you can always ask your questions. You can learn from others on what they ask. You might have the same question, and so we have this all in one place, and I aim to answer every question within 24 hours. And then at a more premium level, and we've set it at a more premium level basically for our advantage and your advantage as well. Of course, it supports the channel and allows us to give more attention to this. So I really appreciate those of you who do go join the membership. It does mean a lot, even if the free content has helped you. But at this more premium level, we're keeping it a bit more exclusive. We are going to be releasing a high potential product video every single month. So these are hand-picked products between 1 and 3. I'm not going to set a number because, as you know, the markets move. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 3 high potential products on the scene. So these are heavily vetted products, and the strategies that we would use to build out these products given over to you. Now, we're keeping that obviously a little more exclusive, because the more people who see it, the more people who watch it who worry that everyone else is seeing it. And that's why we've put it at a bit more of an exclusive level. Now, remember, those are coming out every month, and often there's going to be 2 or 3 of them. So I wouldn't worry too much about competition in terms of who's viewing it. We're still quite a small channel, and it's going to be even a smaller group of those who join that tier. But that is an option at the higher level as well. And then one of the very coolest things is you are going to get your membership badge. As you can see over here, we're going to put them here. And the longer you're a member, you can see, like, when you join, it's this one, then it moves to this one. And the longer you're a member, the cooler your badge actually becomes. And that shows up with your name anytime you comment on the channel. You can see we've kept it with the private label theme. Additionally, you're also going to get some very cool emojis that you can use when commenting on the channel and interacting. We'll put those up on screen here. We're also going to have a short code for those. So anytime you want to use them, you can just type in open list Dan, and those are going to come up for you. So very soon you're going to see a little join button below these videos, and you can check it out there and see which tier is best for you. But I would love to see a lot of you guys in there, really excited to do this as well. It helps us focus more on this, and it's going to give you more of the content you're really looking for. It's going to give you more of that direct channel while keeping it a little more exclusive, which I think is also very important for our community. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please drop us a quick like. Remember to subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you're not going to miss our next upload either. But until next time, I hope you guys are keeping really well, and I will see you in the next video.